Welcome all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture. My name is Maria Kądzielska-Koper, and today we'll talk about Warsaw Uprising and how do we remember it. With me in the studio is an absolute expert in this field, American researcher Carson Becker. Thank you very much for showing up.
Thank you for having me.
And we have you here in Warsaw in our studio. Just when you are normally based in Virginia at the university, specializing in Armia Krajowa, and you are one of those very few foreigners who do so well understand Polish history and who are fascinating in it as well. And just about the fact that a lot of people, especially in the US, miss two big events. One is the Ghetto Uprising in Warsaw, and the other one is the Warsaw Uprising. Could you tell us the difference about those two, and which happened when, and what is the actual difference between those events?
So the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising is the one that I would say most Americans, if they are familiar at all with either of them, are familiar with. And so this was the uprising of the Jewish people in the Jewish ghetto that had been walled off by the Germans after they'd occupied Warsaw. And this was after the Germans had begun to deport Jews to concentration camps and had begun this mass extermination. So really it was a heroic and valiant effort to stand up against the oppression and the tyranny that was being forced upon them by the Germans. And it was a very significant event, but it was a different event from the Warsaw Uprising, which happened in the summer of 1944. Which was an uprising of the Armia Krajowa, involving hundreds of thousands of people. And in that uprising, the entire city of Warsaw was destroyed. During the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, the destruction of the ghetto was absolute, and in the subsequent months, they actually established a concentration camp on the ruins of the Warsaw Ghetto to demolish the ruins that still remained. Now, a famous episode of the subsequent Warsaw Uprising the next year was when the Kiev units actually liberated this concentration camp and freed the inmates, most of whom were from Southern Europe, areas such as Greece. So, two distinct events, both part of the larger picture, which is the total subjugation and total brutality imposed on Poland, on Jews and Poles alike by the Germans. And I think it would be important for people back home, people in the United States, to understand that there were two uprisings. And I think that there's certainly room for more information on the second one as well. Now, we have a lovely memoir by Spielmann, the pianist, about his experience in the Warsaw Ghetto. And, of course, Spielberg's famous film about this, adapted from this memoir. And there are many amazing memoirs from actually this period that could be turned into fantastic films, and I certainly hope that more of them are.
Well, I also hope that this also Warsaw Uprising, which is a different event, and of course was a much bigger in scale, and ended up in the certain state of Warsaw because Hitler wanted to make an example out of it and sort of, as a punishment, decided to distract it and destroy the whole city. So all people, either they were murdered, and there was this massacre, the slaughter of Wola, which we are currently on shooting right now. A lot of civilians died, and the rest of civilians were taken out of the city. So it was a dead city, which was not supposed to be on the maps of Europe anymore. That was the wish of Hitler. But right now it's still back again. Here people are living, you are visiting, and we have a chance to make an interview here. So this is a small victory after the World War II.
Indeed.
And to all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture, definitely check it out and watch. There are some movies such as 44, which about Warsaw and Warsaw Uprising, which are very good to see and very good to learn about. And this is something different than the Ghetto Uprising, which happened also in Warsaw, and the history and the story of World War II, which in Warsaw ended in this moment of Warsaw Uprising, because they ended up in the destruction of the city. It's very, very, very worth to see. And of course, visit Warsaw on the 1st of August because every year there is a lovely commemoration of this event, including exactly at 5 p.m. So at a W hour, people stop all over Warsaw, and then later there is a beautiful concert where all the Warsawians and the visitors are able to sing together the songs from Warsaw Uprising. So this is an invitation for you, and thank you very much for watching our episode.